Hello everyone, I am Hariharan. I'm an expert developer working in Unreal Engine for past 4 years. So in this presentation I will explain what is a digital twin and why it is needed and the problem it solves and how can we be using this to track the real-time data. So let's see what is digital twin. So it's not just a 3D model. So it represents the real world objects with the space or the system, everything. So it's receive the live simulated data, updates the behavior of the real time. So when it's come to the real time, we control it as from the both ends. Like if the switch is turned on in the real time, so it will replicate in the digital also. In the same wise, so we turn off the switch or anything in the digital, it will replicate in the real time also. Without live or dynamic data, it's only a 3D model, not a digital twin. So why it is needed means, so traditionally monitoring systems have some limitations. So most of the systems today are only showing the data, number and charts, and then not providing the spatial visual context. So it's making so hard to understand the cause of the effect. So in the industries, the problems, there are so much of problems and then we can monitor it properly. So this digital twin can visualize the data in the context in the real environment and then reduce the reaction time and then improving planning, safety and efficiency. So the problem statement, so there are the core problem in the lack of the real time, as I said already, the interactive system understanding. So in many domain, so we use like the smart homes, buildings, factories, infrastructures, energy systems, we face these issues. So the data exist but disconnected from the physical world, right? So we need to connect on the both end. So that's why the digital twin came. So digital twin is the solution. So which is the bridge gap between the data and then understanding. So the real-time data from the sensors or the servers, a 3D environment, logic and the rules. So we can use the data, so see what's happening instantly, simulate the scenarios before they happen, detect anonymous early and then control system remotely. So we don't need to go to the place and then visit and then control everything. We can watch it from anywhere in the world. So that's the major advantage of digital twin. So for example, so today we are going to see about the subjective like simulated 3D environment in Unreal Engine and then connect the live data, sensor data like as I mentioned temperature, humidity, but we are going to do a smart home concept today and then displaying the status, animations, UI, everything. So we can control the device remotely. So let's see how it works. So these are the system overview and then architectural diagram. So the sensors and then we are going to use the Python server, Unreal Engine and then 3D visualization control inside it. So we need to install the Python and then the Flask. So we need some compilations. So we need this and then Unreal Engine is the major core thing we needed, and then the Varest API is the plugin which is available in the marketplace, so we can download it and then add it to the project. So and then finally the scene we took from the marketplace, the 3D visualization. Hello guys, living room. Today we are going to control is the digital twin working method development part using Unreal Engine and then a Python, a Flask concept. So we are using a plugin called Varest. So inside this Unreal Engine, we are going to use this room template. So it look like a room data. So also we are going to use the plugin called the network plugin Varest. So we'll get the JSON data from the outside. So it will give the JSON data like the room data, lights, fan, everything. So we'll do the example. So today, so let's open the Visual Studio Code, and then I created a app.py, and then we will create a code. So we'll type everything, and then we'll call it as a JSON inside Unreal Engine. So first we need some Flask, import Flask, comma JSONify, and then it request, and then import random, and then import OS, and then hash import OS for the information. Okay, so we are inputting the OS for the environmental variables, so that's why we are using it. So it's just a pseudocode, so it's not the part of the code. So you can remove it anytime. And then we'll remove this comma. We need this here, and then the app equal to Flask name. We don't need the underscore, and then at app root, the random is our reference. So I'll give it as status underscore comma, and then methods dot get. Methods equal to get. So we are getting the data from there. So and then define get underscore device status. Okay. So instead of the status, so everything comes under this. So instead of the status equal to let's say there is a home. So instead of the home, we give some data like there are in the home, there are living room, there are bedroom, kitchens, everything, right? So we'll take living room. So double quotes, and then living underscore room. That's enough. And then close it, and then a colon, and then let's say there are some lights, fan, and the television. So in our project, you can see there is a living room here. So there is a fan, and then lights, and then a television. So we add these three things. That's enough. So double quotes, light, and then we have to set the state here. So default, I'll set it false. So whenever you change here, and then it will update in the Unreal Engine. So in the runtime. So let's see, and then light, fan, fan is all, let's say it's true. And then television, and then this is also true. Okay. And then comma, and then enter. And then let's say we have a bedroom. Currently we don't have a kitchen here, so it is attached with the living room. So we can consider this. So we'll go to the another room called bedroom. Bedroom have the lights and fan. So we'll add those two things. So and then test. So we'll put double quotes, bedroom, double quotes close, and then colon, and then open brace, enter, and then double quotes again, light, and then let's say it's true, and then comma, enter, and then there is a fan, and fan, let's say it's false. So just a random value. For the testing, you can give anything. So hit enter, and then it will return the JSONify status. Okay, so that's the app.py script, and then save, and then we can run it later, but we have to set up a few things in Unreal Engine. So before that, we need some more conditions. If name equal to main, and then port equal to int OS version, get that port 8000, and then these are the things which is included here. We don't need that. And then 5000. If it's 5000, then app should run, because we are going to run this as a local host, not a server. So we can use the server later. So after we done IoT kind of devices, so we use hosting thing. So currently it's running on the local host. So app run host 0, 0, 0, 0, and then port equal to port. Okay, so let's save this, and then yeah, and then continue in Unreal Engine. So let's see, this is the scene, so we don't touch anything in the scene. So let's create some blueprints. So there are 3 blueprints called which is TV. There is nothing in the blueprint, just the static mesh inside. So we are going to update the status soon. So first of all, we have to create a actor BP underscore DigitalTwin. So here we are getting all the data from everything. So let's do this. So don't forget to enable this Varus plugin, then it won't work. So first enable this, and then it will ask restart, and then if you click restart, and then it will be enabled, and then you can close, and then in your blueprint, so you have to do a thing in begin play. So here we can put a delay first, so to read all the data. So just a delay, and then we have to call the Varus subsystem. So in the subsystem, we are going to construct a JSON script, JSON object. So construct JSON object here. So we have to connect this, and then we have to call a URL. So call URL. So the localhost thing, so which we have created some JSON data inside of this status. So we have to give this localhost link to this URL here. So, and we have to give the JSON object the return value, the construct JSON object. So here we have to give it, and then the Varus subsystem is the target, and then we have the callback event. So drag it and create a custom event, and the name, data, anything, data underscore receive anything. Okay. So with this request, so we are going to get the data from this. Before getting the data, so we can simply see the names and then we can call it here. So first we'll get the response object. So with this response object, so it will get the JSON data here, and then we have to specify the field. So get object field. So there are two fields we are using, but there is a master field which is called home. Okay, so we have to specify it first. So here we have to give home, and then again we have to call the get object field, because so there are two kind of things like home, living room, light. So we have to call twice to reach the living room and then thrice to reach the light. So on the light we have the data, so we don't use this field, so we will call the data. So for the home and then living room we'll use the get object field. Okay, so here we have a living room and then a bedroom. So I just copy and then paste, and I remove these things. I just want living room. Okay, and then I copy paste and then connect it here, and then now it's the bedroom. Everything is small, so bedroom, and then now we can get the data types. So here you can see these are the false, true, false, true. Everything is a Boolean type. So the data will be transferred like a Boolean, true or false. So here we get the type as bool. So here you can see a lot of things like get field names, get field integer, get field number in numbers, so in string also. So there are different type of data like integer, which is whole number, and then float is like the decimal value. So if you are using any values like have that decimal values, so you can use the float value and then return the value as float and then get in float return value. Okay, so currently we are using the bool field, so get bool field. Okay, so we have to specify the content, and then the first one is the fan, I hope. Fan, television, light, anything is fine, the order doesn't matter. So in the living room there are three things, so we have to copy paste 3 times, and then in the bedroom there are two things, the fan and the light, I hope. Fan, light. Okay, so here light and then a television. So it will return the value, but we have to store it, right? So we have to convert everything as a variable. So let's convert this to a promote to a variable and call it as lr underscore fan. lr means living room underscore fan, and then promote to variable lr underscore light. Okay, and then promote to variable lr underscore tv. So we have to connect everything, and then here we have the fan and then light again. So this is a bedroom, so we can promote the variable and then call it as br means bedroom underscore fan. so the variable name won't clash, and then again promote variable and then br underscore light. So we can store it as a variable, and the starting execution pin will be connected to this pin, so it will work. And then first we will just test with the print string, so any of this data is working or not. So let's print only one data first to test the data is coming or not. So we are going to host this app.py in the local host. So let's debug, so and then run without debug. So as you can see, this is the development server, so this is not the production deployment, so we are using for testing. So it is running on the HTTP 127.0.0.1.5000. so we are going to control and then click, and then you can see the web page is not found, and then here there is a status. I have already got the link, so we have to put a slash and then type status, and then if you hit enter, and then you'll see the JSON data here: home, bedroom, fan, light, living room, fan, light, television, everything. So now we can use this data and call in Unreal Engine. So for that we need to type this link, the web link, copy, and then go back to Unreal Engine and then paste. Okay, now we can test this print string is working or not. So we have to just compile and then save, go to interior and then hit just play, and then it asking BP player something error. That's okay, we delete it, compile and then save and then play, and then see there is no print string. Any guess? So we created this BP DigitalTwin, but we didn't use this in a scene, so we have to drag and drop into the scene, and then if we hit just play and then it say false, so the data is coming. So let's print every data with an append value, so we can know everything is working or not. Okay, so and then append, okay, we will just connect these pins. Now we can get a random values like true, false, false, true, like that. See, false, true, 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 false. So these are the values coming from this local server. So true, false, false, true, true. So it's the value. Now we are going to store this value and implement this in our digital world, like in Unreal Engine. So let's we already stored this value in the runtime, so we have all these variables. Now we are going to use this by getting the television. So this is the television data, LRTV. So we are going to get this DigitalTwin actor into the TV and then assign the status, so we can turn on the television. So here get actor of class, and then digital twin, the actor, digital twin, and then we are going to call the TV, get LR TV, and then if the branch is true, then this TV mesh here, so it's turned off texture. So here on the right details panel you can see some textures, MTV display off. So we can grab the static mesh and then set material. So we have to set the material, the third one. So we need the third one to be changed. So this one is element 2, so we have to change the element in text to the 2, and then we have to duplicate it for the false value. So if you are doing it in this event tick, so you need both. So otherwise default will be the false, and then if the true only, it will triggered and then worked. So for the display off, so we have to replace the same texture, and then there is another texture called m_tv display on. So I have created a simple texture with an image with the correct size, and then going back to the pptv and then replace it, and then there is a reference. So yeah, now compile, save. So sometimes if the TV on while I play, so it will update. So currently our TV is in the off state, or yeah, true only. So the television, so here the television is true, but here it's not getting it. So let's see what's the issue. That's the delay issue, I hope. So it's calling on the event begin play, but in this 0.2 delay is there. So we will update with some delay. So delay 1 second. So for the loading time, so we will give this delay so that it can make some errors. So see, the TV is turned on right now with a delay. So the delay is the problem. So here 0.2 seconds delay, and then there is no delay in this, so that the problem we found. So we add more delay to solve this problem. So now we can get the data from the local to the Unreal Engine. So let's get all the data and then see how it looks, and then see everything goes fine. So we have every variables, and then BP living room fan, and then there are so much of child objects, so I put it in the cube with small objects to rotate it easily like this. So we call this cube, and same. So but this time we are going to call this event tick, because the fan will rotate. So we should add some rotation to this parent object so that the fan will rotate always. So let's call the actor, the get actor of class, digital twin, and then get LR fan. So the LR fan, and then again the branch to check, and then add local rotation. So we don't need the to be the world, so we need the local rotation. And then when it's true, so it will be rotated as around maybe 10 in the z axis, not the x or y. So z axis, let's test. So light living room fan. So let's see the data. The living room fan, it's in false, so we are going to set it true and then save. And then we have to rerun the script. So then it will reflect, and then we have to refresh the page. Now you see the living room fan is true. Let's see the data. Again we forgot to add the delay. 1 second. And then we put the delay, so it's look like this. And then we'll do one thing. It's an even tick, so we don't need a delay anymore, I hope. Let's test this. Now you can see the fan is rotating. For the even begin play, you need a delay, but even tick is calculating every frames, so we don't need the delay. So the TV is in the on state and the fan is rotating, and the bedroom, it's nothing happening. So it's because we didn't apply the same for. So we just copy and then paste and then connect. But so this is the bedroom fan, so we have to delete this and then call BR bedroom fan. Okay, and then so these are the essential things, but there is one more things to add. There are some lights here, so we have to work for the lights. So I open the level blueprint. So in the even begin play, we going to call the sequence 2 times for the bedroom and then living room. Before that, we get the actor of class, the same digital twin. There are more ways to do it, but this is the one of the method by getting the actor and then calling the variable. So here what we need, the light data. So the light data is LR light and then BR light. LR light and then BR light. Okay, now we get both and then we put branch here, another branch, let's call all the lights in this living room. There are 1, 2, 3, and then I hope, yeah, 4, 5, 6. I think I selected every lights. So let's call this reference here, right click, and then you can add the reference. I hope the reference is not coming. I hope yeah, now we have selected it, and then you can call it here. Why it's not coming? We call this rectangle lights first. We just drag and drop so that we can call the reference easily, and then we'll dock it here or somewhere. Yeah, and then we need these spotlights. I hope that's it. We drag and drop this, and then if it's false only, we have to update. Otherwise, we don't need to update. So for the living room, set this intensity. I call this light component. And then we set this intensity to 0. If it's true, the default light will be turned on already, so we don't need to worry about it. So similarly we're doing for the bedroom lights, so let's go to that. So there are spotlight here, and then here rectangle light, and then 2 rectangle light here. I hope that's it. So we forgot to add these 2 lights in the living room, so we will add it. So yeah, these are the bedroom lights. So similarly we are going to do the same. Set intensity to 0 for the false, save, and then these 2, and then copy, and then drag and drop. Okay, okay, let's test this. But there is last one more thing to do. So we'll create a UI folder. So we can update this data through the UI, user interface. So user widget, and then w underscore digital twin data, and then we enter, and then we put a canvas panel. Okay, and then we add a blur. We'll keep this blur on the left side, and the anchor point be like this, and then we add a little blur here. The blur strength around 10 is fine, and then we put text. This will be live data. We'll add some bold letters around 50. And then we'll put living room. And then duplicate it. And then bedroom. And then we duplicate it again. Like light. And then fan. And then in the living room, there is one more thing called television. So we need to align these things. Before that, we need to give the status. So we need another text block with the same font, 50. Copy paste. We will wrap with this horizontal box, these both. So it is wrapped with the horizontal box. And then we will give fill here. Similarly, we doing this for everything. Wrap with horizontal box. Wrap with horizontal box. Wrap with horizontal box. And the last one, now we all collect this horizontal box, and then wrap with the horizontal box, so that everything will be in uniform. Sorry, the vertical box. Okay, so now the first one should be the living room. So we move it to the top, and then the text box should be in the right side. Light fan, and then television. So we will give fill for everything, and then the alignment of the text block on the right side for everything. And then bedroom is just 2 steps away. So in the padding we'll give around 20, 50, yeah. For the living room it's also 50, bottom is 50, yeah. Now we have to update these texts. So this one is LR light, and then check the variable LR fan TV, and then BR light, and then BR fan. So check everything is a variable. So we will update the text, and then open the graph, and then on the event tick create actor of class, get actor of class, digital twin, and then we have to call the every variables. So we just type get, and then get LRTV, BR fan, LR light, LRTV we get, LR fan, and then the one more thing, the bedroom lights, get BR light. So we are going to assign this to this text, and then we'll for the default everything will be in the false. So if it's true only we will update. Okay, so checking the branch, using the sequence 1 2 3 4, BR fan, checking the BR fan is true. So here the BR fan, if it's true, set text, and then here we have to type true, and then connect here. That's it. Okay, similarly 2 3 4. Okay, so here we have to call BR light, set text, and then again the true, and then LRTV, then we copy paste here, and then LR light, and then finally LR fan. I think we can put a delay about 1.2 seconds and then update to the UI. We don't need the event tick because it will check every frames, so we don't need that. So compile, save, and then we have to call this UI digital twin data in the level blueprint. So we added a sequence, so we can create a widget here and then type the widget name w underscore digital twin data and then add to viewport and then get player controller set show mouse cursor so that the mouse cursor will be visible on the player screen. Okay, now let's just test, but before that we need a restart button to refresh while the digital twin works. So we need a refresh button. So if the data changed in the script in the JSON value, so we have to refresh it here because since we are not using the event tick, so we put a refresh button. So button, so we can drag and drop and then put a text on it and call it as refresh. And check is variable and on click, so get current level name, open level by name. So we open the same level, so it will refresh and then check the placements, anchor, everything is fine. Let's hit the play button. So now you can see after 1 second everything updates here. So I'll put the full screen. Now in the living room it says the light, fan and televisions are true, so everything is bright and I can see the light and then the television is in the on state and then the fan is rotating. And the bedroom the light is false and but the fan is true. So here the fan is rotating but the light is not on visibly. So let's change the value from the JSON and then see it's working here or not, and then press the refresh button. Okay, so we are going to do with the live thing by side window. So here I put this and then fan as false and then here light as false, and then in the bedroom we apply the true value and then television false. Okay, now save, then Control C, and then we're going to run this again. We have to run without debugging. Now you see, so here true, 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 and then everything is false, true. So we have updated this. Now we are going to refresh it. Let's check the TV is turned off and then the lights are turned on. Yeah, it's working. So now the TV is turned off because here we changed the state on the right side. So now everything is working. In the living room, the fan is true, so it's rotating, and then the fan is turned off on the bedroom. So this is how you get the data from the JSON outside and then getting the data inside Unreal Engine using the Whereas plugin. There are more ways to do it, but this is one of the method. So we can control in both ways. Here you can set the false value and then you can send the value to the JSON and then change here to the false or true state, everything. So not only the booleans, you can control the string, integer, float, everything. So thank you for watching. So so far we have learned to develop a real-time interactive digital twin and then successfully integrated the live simulated data in this environment, the room environment, and then watch the monitoring controls and then getting the Flask JSON data into the Unreal Engine, and then how to store a variable and then use it in multiple classes, multiple actors. So, and then future work will be the AI based predictive maintenance, and then VR AR support for immersive control, and then integrating the real physical IoT sensors. So currently we put the random values, so the true or false Boolean values, but soon we will put I'll put a tutorial for integrating with real physics IoT sensors, like we buy some IoT sensors and installed in our home, and then we can control on the two-way switch like home and then the Unreal Engine digital twin data. Okay, so thank you guys. Let me know the questions in the comment sections. So see you guys. Thank you.